What's up, fellow gamers? Welcome to my Vanguard class guide. I am Phreak. I have about 700 hours played of the game so far, most of which on Chrome difficulty, a lot of which I've been playing with the Vanguard, so this is a class I know quite well. And hopefully you find this advice useful. We're going to go through the talents, multi-class opportunities, what kind of gear you might want to equip on one, and what kind of Vanguards you might want to hire. There are going to be timestamps below. Feel free to do what you want with that. Let's talk about the talents, though. And up first, on the right-hand side, is Lure. And Lure, I think, is a really great talent. There's really... You can choose to not learn it, I guess, if you want. You can spend almost any number of points in it, and you're going to get bang for your buck no matter what. You can make a Vanguard build where the first thing you do is max out Lure. You can do stuff where you leave it at 1. You can kind of go anywhere in the middle. I think this talent is really strong and really well designed in terms of the value of points. So what it does is it makes a 5-meter radius circle up to 50 meters away, and any guards in the area will turn towards it. And then whenever they get actions, they will walk as close as they can to the central point of that circle. And then in their next turn afterwards, they will go in a hunting state and spend like about 2 to 3 action points walking in a random direction, hoping to figure out what's going on around there. And so the usability is basically threefold, right? 1, you are changing their facing, which can matter for you to like sneak by them. 2, you're functionally stunning them for the next turn because they're walking to exactly one location. 2B is that now they're all grouped together, so if you have some kind of big AoE you care about, they're grouped up for that to happen. And then 3, they're like quasi-stunned for the next couple of turns where they do the hunting state and like just don't go very far. Now that said, if the security AI comes in and says, hey, you go here, that will overwrite Lure and you'll lose it. But if you're not creating new security events anytime in the next couple of turns, Lure will basically just lock them down into one location, and you can feel really good about that one. 4-turn cooldown, 1 AP cost is very, very reasonable. But the thing is, you can bump the cast range up to 25, and you can bump the radius up to 15, which means 25 meters away, 15-meter reach is a whole 40 meters. That is pretty absurd. You can do some really gnarly things, and it's why like investment can be kind of linear here, because if you do invest in making it long range and high reach and whatnot, you still want a second charge. In fact, if all you do is say, hey, I'm just gonna really make sure like these 2 guards, no matter where they are gonna get grabbed and thrown away, second charge, that's also pretty reasonable. But you can do some pretty nasty things. You can basically put entire rooms together. It's really fun to use. It's just, this is a really, really well-designed talent for a game like this. I really love it. Again, you could totally play a Vanguard successfully without this tool, but it's just very fun. It's even like kind of a reason to class into Vanguard, because you can do some really fun things if you're already playing an AoE class, you're multiclassing. There's just a lot to like about Lure. There's a lot of usability here. It's really quite nice. Next up is Silence. Silence is very solid. This is a really good 1-point wonder, sort of bread and butter kind of talent. 0 action point cost, 10% move speed, and silent running. Silent running is basically guaranteed. Either you deafen them through things like thrown bullet or white noise, or you get something like silence where you can run quietly. The goal being to get within 3 meters of an enemy in order to slice them without them turning and being like, wait, I saw somebody, now I'm alert, now you can't do a stealth crit. And that's pretty valuable. So yeah, you really do want to try to get to a spot where you can hit from the shadows, and silence is a way to do that. Now, the nice thing is, even if you aren't attacking silently, 10% move speed for a turn is, I mean, it's not great. It's like half an action point in like actual practice, and half an action point every 4 turns is, I mean, it's like barely worth the points in and of itself. Like, I wouldn't grab Silence just to use it as a move speed buff. That would be pretty crappy. But if you're able to bypass a guard or set up, a chance at a stealth crit for a sword, suddenly that's actually really, really valuable. And even if you don't crit, the fact that you're getting 25 accuracy on that first strike, like that can be a pretty meaningful damage increase as well. So it's kind of a lot to like here. You can drop the cooldown down to 3. You can actually have Silence last for 2 full turns and get a second charge, such that you're actually running around the map at 10% move speed more often than not. I would not seriously recommend doing this investment and being like, oh man, look at me, I'm doing such cool stuff. But if you're in a state where you're like, yeah, look, I pop Silence, all I do is run the first turn, and the second turn I get in range to attack. Okay, cool, I got bonus move speed for like 8 AP worth of movement. I then got bonus accuracy and stealth crit chance on my first attack there. It's like, okay, yeah, I can kind of see why I might do this. The other buffs here, though, are sort of why you're here. Like, if you're grabbing the other stuff, it's because you're grabbing this stuff down here. You can get 20 stealth crit chance and 30 stealth crit damage. That's pretty good. Attacking from stealth does not natively give you crit chance, so you have to find ways to print that yourself. Sometimes the passive nodes here will give you stuff here, right? Here's 3 stealth crit, here's 3 stealth crit. I think there's a 4 somewhere up here. There's 3. Is one a 4? Yeah, there's 3 right there. So like, you can get it in a couple of different places. And of course, this will help as well. And most of the melee weapons in the game come with innate bonus crit damage and bonus stealth crit damage, and so finding ways to unlock that crit damage via getting stealth crit chance, very effective, pretty useful here. And so Silence is a really good, I wouldn't say one-stop shop, but sort of first-stop shop for setting up that playstyle, and that can be really valuable. So Silence, you can definitely invest in it. You can also wait. There are other good talents here in Vanguard. I think Vanguard is a lot of killer, very little filler, so your points are often spread pretty wide, and you're going to have like kind of a lot of choices around how you want to play your Vanguard, because there is a lot of good stuff there. Final thing I want to bring up is that Silence itself is canceled on attack. You're only getting one strike with this. So if you're using like a blade, that's normal, right? Like you're just going to kind of hit one guy, hope you get it, and then you're probably out of AP in most cases anyway. Using a sniper rifle, you're only getting this for shot 1, and so popping Silence just for 10 crit chance, 15 crit damage, and that's all you're getting from the investment. That's probably not quite good enough. That's all you're doing. So want to kind of caution that, as this is helpful, but not really what you're looking for on like a sniper rifle kind of talent. Next is a jam kit. Incredibly high, great usability here. So out of the box, it's pretty mid. 12 meter radius kind of sucks. This barely beats out camera vision range, which is 11 meters. Long range cameras is like 25 or something, but for a short range camera, the basic camera, this does have more reach than the camera itself. You might lose more, like almost a full action point getting into that 1 meter buffer between your in cast range and your at the camera vision range. About 1 in 4 times that'll happen. So like on average, you lose about a quarter of an action point just getting into that location. That's going to be kind of annoying. I think 3/4 of the time rather. Regardless, that's a little bit painful. But hey, for 1 AP, you knock the camera down for this and the next turn. That is often going to be enough time to get your entire team through. Your Vanguard themselves, no problem running through. That's going to be really, really easy. As long as the rest of your team is kind of nearby, right? They can easily cover more than 20 meters in a turn. They should get by no problem. It shouldn't be a big deal. But also nice thing is Jam Kit has really useful upgrades as well. I think getting plus charges is pretty worthwhile. Just linearly 2, 3, 4 charges. That's a lot of extra usability. Dropping the cooldown to 3, actually pretty relevant. This will, in many cases, as long as you have like more than 1 charge innately, and I mean by definition you must because of the pathing here, this will provide you probably 1 extra jam kit per turn as well, so it's just as good as all the plus charge nodes. Getting the range up to 18 now gets rid of the, oh, sometimes I'm in a spot where I have to waste 1 AP walking from 13 meters to 11.5 meters just to get in range to jam kit without getting seen. This gets away with that entirely and says, cool, we're chilling, we're fine. This can also help with like your pathing. I was going to walk kind of by the camera, but not super close to it. I'm doing it with somebody else, knock it down that way. There's a pressure sensor or landmine, whatever else it was. Like, this usability is really worthwhile. I'm not saying you can't take jam kit without this node, but if you actually are using your Vanguard as a primary device disabler, you really kind of want this node. And then if you're invested this heavily in using like 5 jam kits per mission, spend the 2 pointer on -1 AP cost on jam kit, because look, if you're spending 5 AP a mission doing this, saving 5 AP over the course of your entire situation for 2 points, that's generally going to be efficient. That's going to be pretty worthwhile. But again, you take this, if you're going to jam kit more than about 4 times in 10 turns, more than at least 3 times in 10 turns, once you're above that threshold, I think this is a pretty worthwhile grab. Also just the safety of, oh yeah, I jam kit for 0, I can do whatever the hell I want, and then just jam kit and it's going to be fine, and I don't have to like do any weird planning. That safety, that sort of like clarity, the easing of your mind, just that could be pretty helpful as well. So yeah, if you're invested, I would say get all the way here. You don't absolutely have to. You can totally be like, I'm like jam kit +2. I just like grab these 2 nodes or grab these 2 nodes and that's it. That's completely functional. It's totally fine. Again, this is one of the nice things about the way that Vanguard is designed, is you really can. You can 1 point wonder, you can spend 3, you can spend full, and like they're all pretty reasonable choices, which again, I like Vanguard a lot for this reason. Next one in line as we go through the left-hand side of the tree is Anticipation. So Anticipation is single target look ahead. The range is really good at 25 meters. Again, it's only single target. The nice thing is you do get 10% crit vulnerability for this and the next turn. Now, you're not going to get, that much out of 10%. You can do some increasing to lower the evasion. You can lower the initiative by 2. This is kind of a dead node. No one cares about this. This is pretty crap. You can like increase the range to something very, very large if you really want. You can get this to 40 meters. You shouldn't need 40 meters on Anticipation. I find that 25 is almost always, it's like close enough to good enough. Also, it's 0 AP. If you want to go for this, you certainly can. I think a 3rd charge, not really needed. I think recharge rate down to 4, not really needed. I think -2 initiative is a dead point. I think 10 evasion is fine. Although I don't really expect you to invest this heavily in Anticipation just for like, oh yeah, twice per mission I get 10% evasion on the guy I target. Like I would not bother. It is a good 1 point wonder. I could see you going for some of the range stuff here in the charges, like maybe But realistically, it's single target look ahead with a bit of upside in dropping their crit vuln to 10 by 10%. So hey, whoever's attacking this guy the entire time, 10% bonus crit chance. That can matter for your stealth sword crits, that can matter for sniper crits, that can matter for a bunch of things. It's fine. I like that there's a little bit of flavor there with a crit vuln that'll occasionally pop off. That's kind of nice. Nothing too spicy, but hey, I'm glad it's there. Next one closest in pathing is Glasswalker. Glasswalker is really nice. The nice thing is the baseline radius is already 25 meters. Now, 25 is large, but it is not the entire map. There is a little bit of thought and planning that goes into this. The nice thing is this is a reasonable upside here. 5 initiative is enough to more often than not guarantee your team goes first. That's actually pretty valuable. It's triggering every 4 turns. Okay, fine. You could drop it to every 3 turns. That's pretty cool as well. You can get a second charge. That's nice. Now, I want to caution, there's actually, unfortunately, 2 bugs here with Glasswalker, both of which kind of suck. One, currently, in July 1st, 2025, this is not working. Earlier in early access it was working. I don't know when it broke, but it's been broken for a little while now. Though the text is here, when you learn that text disappears, Glasswalker does not last a second turn. That can matter. The other bug here is that Glasswalker can pop twice on the same turn. If you gain enough tally in a turn to go from like sec level 1 to sec level 3, the AI will only do 1 escalation. It'll do the sec level 3 escalation. However, Glasswalker will consume itself twice, which isn't particularly useful, because it doesn't really stack in any meaningful way. And so, unfortunately, this does nothing, and this, some percentage of the time, also does nothing. Now, there's plenty of the time where it doesn't screw up, and you're fine, and it triggers once on turn 1, and then the cooldown starts, and this triggers on, like, turn 3 or something, and you're fine, and you're able to keep going, but, like, hey, I want to caution that, unfortunately, these nodes are bugged, and despite that, Glasswalker is still maybe the single best talent in Vanguard because this node is truly ridiculous. So let's assume these are like literally dead nodes and this thing says, hey, spend 3 points to unlock me. You learn Glasswalker, you spend 1 on getting the cooldown down to 3, then you spend 3 points to gain this. Still maybe the best talent in Vanguard. Which really means like they should just nerf this realistically, but whatever. This is truly incredible. Going from +5, +7 initiative pretty much guarantees you're going to have all the tie breaks you need, and your team is definitely going first. You're going to be fine. You're going to pop this, and the nice thing is, right, if there's a security escalation, there's a lot of the time it's going to be like, oh yeah, there's an escalation, and like a bunch of reinforcements spawned, or an escalation happened because you got into a firefight, you didn't kill everyone, and so we have like 3 different guards being like, warning, warning, intruder spotted, there's gunfire, there's stuff going on, oh my gosh, and it's like, well, because there's an escalation, something happened. Because of escalation, there was probably tally and escalating events, which means the guards are probably being sent towards you by the security AI, so wouldn't it be nice if your team went first and didn't get jumped before it was too late? Yep, that's pretty solid. And, I mean, I think if, you know, it didn't cost 3 points, and I said, look, just give me a cooldown, give me 7 initiative, I would still learn Glasswalker. If it was just like, yeah, Glasswalker +2 and you get 7 initiative every 3 turns, I'd be like, I'll take that. That's a pretty good talent. I'll take that. But the crazy stuff is you get +1 action point on a 3-turn cooldown to everyone on your team. Well, nearly everyone. You can be outside 25 meters. Oftentimes you won't be. This is silly levels of good. I'm gonna keep spending time on this because it's really good. Right, this prints more than 1 action point per turn for a total of 5 points. That's very good. It also gives you a lot of initiative. That's very good. If you manage to situate your cooldown such that there's never double pops, thus Glasswalker triggers like 3 or 4 times in a mission, right? If you're getting this 3 times or 4 times in a 10-turn mission, you are printing 12 or 16 action points across 10 turns for 5 points. That's some of the best return on investment you can possibly get. It's not quite Tactical Surge levels of silly, but imagine this lasted 2 turns and you printed 8 action points per escalation. It'd be the best talent in the game. So again, like, I think, you know, if it works as written, it should be nerfed. Regardless, even with the way it's working right now, it's still really good. I recommend getting it. Now, the asterisk is if you play a full stealth playstyle and you try very hard to not ever get security level to rise, all right, you know what? Never mind, it's not very good. But if you play on high difficulties where you get like minimum 2 tally per turn, you're going to escalate every 5 turns no matter what you do. Well, that's going to matter. If you ever run through a camera, if you ever don't dissolve every corpse you ever run past, if you ever get into a firefight and don't kill everyone who ever heard your gunshots, all those things are going to add up, and you will get escalations if you're not playing on like a no tally difficulty mode. Guess what? Making sure your entire team goes first and gets 1 AP, really good talent for pretty low investment. I'll finally move on. Spent a lot of time here, but this talent really is very, very good. We move on to Blend. The biggest downside of Blend is actually the pathing is awkward. So if you're gonna like not ever learn Anticipation or Glasswalker and you're going up like this anyway, okay, it's 1 node to get here, okay, fine. But if you're going to like Anticipation, Glasswalker, and you're here, yeah, well, it's 2 points to go in, or if you're not even gonna go up this way, like if you don't want K Protocol or Body Bag and you're like, yeah, I'm just Jam Kit, Anticipation, and a Glasswalker, it's 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, right? I mean, obviously you probably, you know, spend this way, but the biggest downside of Blend is that it can sometimes take you 3 attribute nodes just to get there. These nodes are fine. Like, evasion's okay, stealth crit chance kind of nice, strength and HP. If you're playing a sword-based one, strength is damage, so it's fine. Regardless, though, Blend is really cool. So Blend, you turn invisible for the remainder of this and next turn. So if basically you got into a bad state and you're like, oh crap, I screwed up, I ran too far forward, they can see me, you just pop Blend. You're like, cool. Rest of this turn, I'm not going to hit. Next turn starts, I can delay and delay and delay, let all the guards use their action points, come out of Blend, go do a bunch of damage, right? No matter what happens, Blend is, my Vanguard is absolutely not going to die this turn. And you can get the duration up to next 2, even up to next 3 turns to get a second charge, which means if you need to permablend for some reason, you can. Should you have to permablend? Probably not, but if you really, really want to, you can. I think +1 charge, once you've already grabbed Blend, pretty reasonable choice, because now you can save 1 charge permanently as if things go wrong, it can Blend, while also using it proactively as a crit chance printer. Now, by definition, it's broken by movement or attack. I'm only getting the crit chance for 1 attack here, but it's 25 stealth crit for 0 investment when you look at, you know, silence, and okay, that gives move speed and stuff, but right, silence is only 10% crit chance per point for, you know, no extra point investment. Okay, what's the other upside here? Well, I can get another 25 stealth crit chance, and now I'm stealth critting at 50. This means you could do something like silence into somebody, then Blend, and if you're taking silence to be +20 crit chance, and you've got, you know, 3 stealth crit here, 3 stealth crit here, okay, I'm at 26. Okay, I'm at 76. If I have any points in tech, any other way of getting stealth crit chance, which by the way you do, you know, Anticipation is 10. You can get some cyberware like Display Link for another 6. You can get 100% crit chance, and it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Other benefits here, you can get a bunch of stealth crit damage. So if you weren't going to one-shot, now you do. You can get another 50 stealth crit damage here, and it comes along with some extra, you know, 10% bonus damage as well. That said, this is locked behind a plus duration node that you really don't need. I would probably not bother with these bottom 3. I mean, maybe I get these 2, but I would not bother with this at all. There's no way you grab this node at all. But yeah, 50 stealth crit chance, and then, well, now that I'm here, let's go ahead and add another 0.5 to my damage. Yeah, seems pretty good. And so, yeah, if you want to keep the stealth train going, very reasonable. It's a pretty good damage printer. Now, again, this is not, I'm going to full out, oh, actually it can be, to be fair. If you're undetected and you got a bunch of enemies and you're like assault rifle's cone of attack, if you're hidden, you can pop Blend and then immediately go in to use your assault rifle. And what do you got? 50 crit chance, 50 crit damage. Let's go have fun. I mean, it works. You don't need stealth crit damage on your weapon to benefit from this. It's easy 2.0 damage with, you know, half the time at least. I mean, that can work, right? That can actually work. You can totally play stealth assault rifle without a silencer on a Vanguard, and as long as you always kill anybody you ever shoot, you will remain hidden for the entire mission, which means you always have stealth crits. If you have that much damage, you can remain hidden the entire mission, and everything is always a stealth crit. You can if you want. And again, one-shotting them is the way you would stay in stealth, so like this really, really reinforces the playstyle. Whatever weapons you want to use is up to you, but like this is a really, really good way to make sure you're one-shotting everyone you're running into. Next one up is Body Bag. I think this one is, I don't love it. I think it's it's my single least favorite corpse talent. That said, corpse talents are very good. So Body Bag visibly hides the enemy. Now, their timer will run out, but the timer is only 2 sec tally. Finding a corpse is an additional 3. And so you are blocking 3/5 of the eventual tally from a corpse itself. Now, if you multiclass into something like Vanguard or Agent EX, a Hacker or Agent EX, they have ways of stopping the timer. This is a way of hiding the body itself. Of course, a lot of times if you stop the timer, the body won't ever get found. But in some cases, it's like, yeah, I killed this guard. It was like near a camera, but the camera was down because I like used jam kit or something. You can then body bag it. Cool, I've got like a 5-turn window or 4-turn window until the timer runs out, but when the camera turns back on, the body is still hidden. That's kind of reasonable. You can, by the way, get the AP cost down to 0 with, not much going on. The cooldown down to only 5, though, is still pretty long. I wouldn't really bother with this. This is a pretty low amount of usability. You can bump the range to 15 from 12, but why. And then it's like, look, you can spend +4 to get 1 charge, and you can spend +2 to save 2 action points. But this is a talent you're using maybe twice per mission. Spending 2 points to save 2 AP twice per mission. I mean, like, this doesn't really pass the bar to me. I don't think it really does. I think going +4 to get an extra charge, I mean, realistically, all you're getting is 1 extra charge. I would not do this either. Like, if you like body bag, okay, fine. But again, the use rate is so low that it's not worth the AP save in most cases. I would say in the majority of cases, it's not worth the AP save. And like, not even doubling the value of body bag by spending +4, I would say not worth it there either. If the plus charge maybe at the very beginning, if the base cooldown was something like 4, so that cooldown dropped to 3, things like that. But like, I don't care about 12 becoming 15 meters here, right? It's like, the upgrade nodes aren't great. I think the talent itself is fine, especially because it's on the way to one of the cooler Vanguard talents. It's like, look, if I'm already going up here and I'm going to go grab K Protocol, it's like, it's right there. Or if I am coming up from Blend and it's like, well, yeah, you know, if I did path this way for some reason, it's like, well, I can go up this way, grab body bag, come up. Or, you know, I can always come around this way, come up. It's like, look, body bag is not really out of the way. You may or may not find yourself in a state where you've got open talent points. That's going to really depend on your build. Sometimes you won't, sometimes you will. But like, look, at the end of the day, body bag says get rid of 3 tally about once per map, maybe twice per map. That costs 2 action points. That's fine. It's fine, right? It's like, it's learnable, but I would not go out of my way to grab it. Final talent on this side is going to be K Protocol. This one is one of the ultimate stealth tools. I think Vanguard is the overall strongest, like, we are going to move stealthily class. So K Protocol to straight up delete security tally. Now it has to be pending tally, it has to be yellow marked. You can't underflow, you can't go down. I know underflow is not the right term for that, but I keep saying it. But like, a corpse timer ran out, and a guard's going to be sent to go investigate body bag, and I've got 2 passive tally per turn because I'm playing on Chrome. Okay, well anyway, I'm going to delete those 4 tally marks, the 2 passively and the 2 from the thing, and look, the event is still going to trigger. It's still going to send somebody towards the corpse timer, but we got no escalation out of this one. And the updates are pretty easy, right? It's like, hey, 5 turn cooldown, 1 action point cost. The range is pretty tight at 5 meters, getting up to 15. I would say this is really, really worthwhile. This is an important part of usability that you probably should really, really care about. I find that the sweet spot for me is roughly at -4. Like, I would clearly go here and just get to 3 and get to 15 meters. And then I would usually find that getting to a 4th tally is probably worthwhile. I think cooldown, you could. At this point, it's pretty expensive, but like, if you already invested 3 points into it and you're getting 4 tally, this will sometimes give you probably roughly 1 more charge per mission. 1 more charge of -4 tally for 2 points. That's fine. It's okay. If you're really about it, this is totally reasonable. This is, by the way, a talent that you'd be pretty happy to use Rewind on and just like trigger the cooldown again. Like, use K Protocol, next turn comes in, rewind, K Protocol again, because it was like a bunch of really scary turns, or it was a really big turn where there's a bunch of tally coming in, and you're like, look, let's just despawn bad guys. Keep in mind that, like, if you can, trigger full K Protocol twice, that is a full escalation deleted, which by itself could be 3 guards show up, right? If an escalation is reinforcements and it's 3 high-level guards who are going to require, 1,200 ballistic damage each to kill, it's like, well, my Vanguard spent like a talent point and 4 upgrade points, and by using K Protocol twice through the course of a mission, I blocked a full escalation. Okay, well, that's 2 heat that's deleted. That's a whole set of guards as reinforcements that are deleted from the map. That's pretty good. I don't want to hyper oversell K Protocol. It's good. It is not the only reason you would play Vanguard, but as I said, there are a lot of good Vanguard talents. This is one of them. You are happy to max out Lure. I think you'd be happy to grab Blend. You'd be happy to max out Jam Kit. You'd be happy to take a bunch of points in K Protocol. It's a good talent. You'd be happy to take a bunch of points in Glasswalker. There are a lot of good talents. There's more good talents. Good luck picking your favorites, because there's a lot more to go. Now let's talk about the middle tree. We can go up the right-hand side and get reaction, move speed, and stealth crit. We can go up the left-hand side and get move speed, stealth crit, and hit points. It's the same stuff. It doesn't really matter, although going left towards Glasswalker, pretty reasonable. Overdrive is, I think, pretty bad. I think it's going to depend on your playstyle. It's going to depend on how good you are at the game. For me, Overdrive is pretty much useless. So if an enemy spots you during their action and hasn't spotted your team before, gain 10 initiative on your Vanguard. So basically, if your Vanguard is leading, is in front of the team, and you're not like, oh crap, I'm in danger, I should blend, or oh crap, I'm in danger, I should refract. You can be like, no, I'm just going to lead with the Vanguard. And by the way, I've got to make sure I've ended my turn, and like a new turn comes up and my initiative is low. Or I like did a delay and said, go ahead and walk into me. Cool. I mean, there are ways to like hang yourself out here and do this, but it's still kind of awkward. The big thing I want to call out is 10 initiative really does mean I can walk forward to somewhere stupid, stand in the middle of nowhere, and press delay and be like, come show up and say hi to me. And because you're going to gain 10 initiative, it will put you back in line ahead of the guard, because you can see if your initiative becomes highest, it becomes your action. Okay, great, activate once per turn. And I can use this to give myself more initiative, though this basically won't matter. And I can use this to also give myself 1 move point and 1 bonus action point. And then I can get a second charge, so I can do it more often. Okay, so how good is hang my Vanguard out there as a thing? Well, as an action point printer, I've got to go... I mean, +1 for move point is okay. +2 for the action point is all right, cool. What I've got here is I spend 3 points and I can print 1 action point every 4 turns. 0.3 action points per point divided by 4 turns isn't that great. Okay, to be fair, it's 0.66 because let's pretend the move point always matters here as well. Okay, that's cool, but there's 2 problems, okay? The 2 problems are, 1, the Vanguard has to finish getting this kill right now, or it's the guard's turn again, right? Can your Vanguard kill the enemy all in 1 turn? Now, maybe I can blend. Okay, but I could have blended anyway. Why did I do this? Right? Like, okay, if I'm getting action points back, like, this might allow me to take another turn even though I already ended my turn. I'm actually not sure if that's true. I actually don't know. I have not used Overdrive enough to know if it, like, lets me come back to a turn I already ended. Like, if, you know, I've already rolled initiative for next turn. I think that's probably not the case. But, like, this is just, like, awkward and weird, and considering that Vanguard's damage mostly comes from stealth crit, you literally can't stealth crit someone who spotted you. So that's out the window immediately. And yeah, you can use it to blend, but like you could have just blended in the first place. I don't know why I would grab this. I mean, it can save you in weird situations. There is some stuff that kind of sort of matters. There's like other save me's here, but this is one of the worst save me's to me. I would not use it as action point printer. I think the usability here is just too low. There are ways, though, to use this to save yourself, but I still don't love it. So we're going to skip by this. I wouldn't recommend Overdrive. Thankfully, you can path right around it, but yeah, I don't love it. We'll start with the left-hand side here and go to Projection. Projection is a pretty cool running talent. You are undetectable for the entire run, so you don't generate recoil. You do not avoid things that are physically there, so pressure plates, motion sensors, laser wires, they'll still get you. You do avoid cameras. You do, at least from my reading of this description, you avoid mines. You can do that kind of stuff, which is sort of nice. The real benefit here, you can get up to 6 action points of movement. You can get a second and a third charge. You drop the cooldown to 3. This is basically the sibling to Silence, right? You pop Silence, you get a bunch of move speed. As long as they're not looking at you, you can almost certainly, with whatever you've got, run to whatever location you're trying to get to. And then, congratulations, you got there silently. Because they weren't looking, you got there without getting seen as well. And it even came with some move speed. Isn't that wonderful? Projection says, well, you know what? Even if they are looking, I'm going to get there. Now, 4 action points is a lot. Out of the box is going to be around 16 meters of movement. Although that said, the stuff coming up here has a lot of like, well, there's some stealth crit, but there's some move speed here, right? There's some move speed in these places as well. So you will often find yourself, you know, being able to like move more than that. And in fact, I would probably never try to use Silence and Projection at the same time. I mean, you could, there's like a light reason to, but this just kind of helps you guarantee you're going to get to where you want to go and get that stealth attack off by bypassing. If you are playing solo Vanguard, that is a reason to do it. Where if you're playing solo Vanguard, that is why you would probably have Overdrive, is I'm nowhere near the rest of my team, I'm playing really risky, I'm doing some weird stuff, and oh no, I got in a weird spot. Okay, I can buy that could sort of be there. Projection lets you get into a lot of places, it gets to, you know, around a lot of places. You can, you know, have 0 AP jam kit, get rid of laser wires and pressure sensors. You can Projection past all the cameras, past a bunch of guards. You're generally going to move pretty fast. You can use lure. Like the whole like solo Vanguard playstyle completely, you know, I think is viable. It's not my preferred playstyle, but it totally works. And Projection is sort of a key part of that to make sure you can kind of get where you need to go. It's fine. Again, it's not my preferred playstyle, but it totally fits that playstyle. Over to Dome Shot. Dome Shot is a little funny, and I think the usability here is also pretty bad. So it requires a semi-auto attack, which is exactly pistol and shotgun. Those are 2 semi-auto weapons. Now, if you have a shotgun on a Vanguard, why is the first question here. That doesn't seem useful really at all. And if you are doing that, should you not just be in Scourge and grab Neurotox Shell? Potentially just the better version of that. But of course, pistol semi-auto is pretty reasonable. Now the nice thing is you can if you walk under 6 meters, you get a guaranteed glancing hit on a pistol shot, or any ranged attack really, which means as long as you walk within 6 meters, which isn't that hard to do, you can Dome Shot and you get your guaranteed stun. great. Stun for the remainder of the turn, but that's good enough. That's going to make sure that guard is not going to hit you, and you're going to be okay. If their turn's already over, they're stunned for this turn, so they can't report, and also the next turn afterwards. Okay, that's all there. Cool, great. You can add some benefits to it. -10 evasion, -10 cover bonus is weight, situational to ever care about. This is basically not text as far as I'm concerned. You can drop the cooldown down to 3. You can get a second charge here, but the scary thing is it requires your target to have 0 protection points. Well, basic guards and snipers don't have protection points. Whistlers and skipjacks don't have protection points, but captains sure do. And if a captain finds you, your Vanguard is SOL. You can't stun them. You can't do much. You're not very happy about that one. And the fact that you can't stun the guards that you typically care most about stunning, the heavily armored ones who aren't easily killed and easily swatted by a single stealth crit, means that Dome Shot doesn't stun the things you care about. And because you don't have to really path by it, because it's not a 1-point wonder for almost anything, yeah, I wouldn't learn this. I have done a playthrough where I learned Dome Shot, and I was not impressed. It's okay in the early game, but it turns out there's a lot of early game talents you're actually pretty happy to learn on Vanguard, and Dome Shot, not really one of them. So I really wouldn't bother here. Yeah, you can get some more like minor benefits here, but I really don't like this talent very much. I don't think it's very good. Let's talk about the Camouflage tree. I already mentioned lure is quite great. We go up 1, and unfortunately we get another pretty weak talent here in Synapse Short. So if you crit the target and nearby enemies in 6 meters, which realistically is often, more often than not going to be any other enemies, is minus accuracy. Okay. And okay, it's for 2 turns. Cool. So if I crit somebody, they can't kill me back very easily. And I get a nice Overwatch cancel, which is kind of nice. So of course the guy I'm shooting, because we hit them and crit them, of course their Overwatch is gone. But if there's another enemy in 6 meters, cool, we get that. If we fully invest, we can make that 14 meters. Okay, this is much more likely to hit other guards, sure. But all we're getting is other guards lose Overwatch and 25 accuracy. I mean, it's there, it exists. The nice thing is it's any crit. You're often trying to stack crit chains on this character anyway, but if you're trying to play stealth crit, well, if you're stealth critting, the guy you're attacking is probably dead. And the AoE debuff hitting another guard that you're going to probably try to stealth crit later on down the line, why do you care that their accuracy is lower? You're trying to stay in stealth. And so to me, it doesn't really fit the Vanguard mold very well. If you're doing this, you have like a like useful talent on Vanguard because like you're running a Vanguard and you've got to go into a battle strike or whatever. I would just multi-class and grab like a real combat talent. Now it is on the way to pathing towards some things you might care about because Refract is goated. And so you're like, well, I could do this like really awkward pathing like this, which is a huge waste of points to grab Refract. Don't want to do that. I mean, you could because Pinger's pretty good, but we'll talk about it later. Or like you're going up here and you're like, wow, I'm a 1-pointer from Dome Shot. I'm a 1-pointer from Overdrive. I've grabbed Refract. It's like, yeah, I mean, going up through that is fine. Or instead of spending these 3, you can spend these 3. But I would legit rather have move speed, stealth crit, and hit points than stealth crit, and synapse short. I would rather have the attributes, realistically. So, yeah, I would just kind of not bother, to be honest. I think this is a pretty dead talent. I would try to not learn it. I would try to not take down your talent camp. I think this is pretty bad overall. We go from one of the worst talents in the class to one of the best. Refract is another absolute banger of a talent. I mentioned K-Protocol sweet. I mentioned Glasswalker sweet. Blend is sweet. Gem Kit's sweet. Silence is pretty good. Lure is sweet. Refract is also sweet. As I said, there are a lot of ways to play a very strong stealth-focused Vanguard. Refract is one of them. This talent is pretty amazing. So out of the box, 1 action point. The nice thing is this reflection field can be walked by. Now, keep in mind, enemy guards can walk by it too, but it fully blocks line of sight. Now, for you, you have perfect information, right? So you know where all the guards are, and so though it's going to block attacks through the wall, it also blocks the guards seeing in. And unlike smoke screens, this does not scare the guards. When a guard sees smoke, they go like, hey, wait a second, there's smoke here. I'm going to investigate. I'm going to turn suspicious. I'm going to report it to the sec AI. That's going to create tally. It's going to have more guards come over. Refract, they just see right through it, and it looks like it's invisible. And so that means that you get complete like anonymity here, and you can still block guard line of sight. If a guard is standing still, turning back and forth to like protect a bridge, you can put it right in front of his face, and he just sees an empty bridge in front of him. And if you walk by him, nothing happens. If you pop silence or projection to run around silently behind him, he doesn't know you're there. If you have an agent EX on your team to deafen them, or a gunslinger on your team to deafen them, That's going to happen too. If you lure everybody into one point on the map and then throw a refract right behind that point, none of them can look at you. None of them can see you. They can hunt past it, right? Again, you can walk through the refract wall, but it completely blocks line of sight. You can block cameras. It's only so tall, so be careful. Blocking a camera is a little bit finicky. The game does have a real Z-axis, so if you're like, oh, there's this guard across the bridge here, I'm going to try to block shots with refract. If they can like see your shin and there's a direct line of sight from them to seeing you, you can get shot. Be careful. Maps with a lot of vertical elements, refract can fail. It's not infinitely tall. Be careful. It's very real. This game is actually 3D. It doesn't matter all the time, but it sometimes matters, so be careful about that one. Being 8 meters long is enough. The cast range in 6 meters is more often than not enough. You can drop the AP cost to 0. This is great because now it means you have another save me talent. So again, if you're in a spot where overdrive would pop, or you're like, actually, I'm in a bad spot, I might want to blend, or I might want to refract. Bam, you throw a refract down at 0 AP. You're safe no matter what. It's no big deal. Cast range up to 8, and then 13 I don't think is really needed. These aren't very useful. I would probably skip these for the most part. Cooldown to 4 is fine. You totally can, but again, I don't think you need it that badly. I would say down to 0 AP is worth, and legitimately I would say actually getting second charge is worth as well. It's pretty expensive. You're doubling your investment into refract, but in a lot of cases you're doubling your number of refract walls. And it's just good. Like, this is a great talent. I think you can probably get away with just doing the +4 or the +3 here. The only downside is the pathing kind of sucks. You're either pathing up from Synapse Short, which is bad. You're pathing all the way up here and spending 3 movement points just to get up here. Now, if you're going into projection anyway, going up here to projection and spending these 5, right, it's the same ones that are getting kind of shared, and you're here anyway. Or if you're coming from K Protocol and you're here at projection, it's still 3 to get there, which isn't beautiful. It's not great. Even if you're at Pinger, it's like 1, 2, 3 from here. Or if you're up this way, it's still not the easiest, unfortunately. That's the biggest downside of Refract, is both Refract and Blend, which are the great, like, really good save me talents with a lot of utility, a lot of stuff. There's a lot of kind of travel nodes on the way. These aren't terrible. Again, 4% functional move speed, some move speed and some crit damage. Like, that's all totally wonderful. But you still have to basically spend multiple turns or multiple levels just getting here. But again, Refract is sick. It's a really, really good talent. I recommend learning it if you can, but there's a lot of talents that I recommend learning, so good luck. On the right-hand side, we have Pinger. So Pinger fakes a security event within 10 meters. It does not raise tally, much like Lure. It will turn guards suspicious. It will not raise tally. It will not be an event. There will be no Sec AI interactions here. But the Sec AI, in this case, will dispatch one random agent to investigate that location. So you're saying, hey, it's like there's a corpse timer. It's like there's someone triggering a laser wire. It's like there's someone triggering gunfire. Somebody's going to run right over here. Now, it could be somebody from all the way across the map. It could be somebody who's right there and really close by, and you're getting out of position. It's, as far as I can tell, random. I cannot discern a rhyme or reason behind what the Sec AI chooses to pull over. That said, though, when you grab the range increase, it goes to 25, right? When it's at 10 meters, it's like, look, you can point to a location behind you and then run forward, and it's like either a guard comes out of position or a guard that you're going to run into is now running out of his own position and he's going to be more isolated. That can all be useful, right? It's either you get a kill for free or somebody's out of position. That's good. And for, 1 action point cost, you can use, twice and maybe even 3 times a mission. Pretty good talent. Now again, unfortunately, you have to go spend 3 points getting here, but hey, stealth crit damage and stealth crit chance are not bad nodes. Even the attributes are fine here. But again, it's still 3, it's like another 2 points to get to refract, so it's a little ugly here. But like, this is solid. You can drop the cooldown to 2. You can get a second charge. You can make the range so large, you can for sure send a guard into Narnia and they'll never see you again. You can drop the action point cost to 0. There's another one where it's like, look, Vanguard has a lot of really fun, good talents that are clever and interesting and good to use, and you can make them cost 0 action points. You can make the usability really high. You can have the uptime be really high. It's like, yeah, I would love to cast Lure 3 times on 6 guards every single time. That's great. I would love to cast 3 refract walls for 0 AP in every mission I ever run. I would love to have 0 action point jam kit with like 6 functional charges. I would love to print an action point on my entire team 3 times per mission. I would love to blend and crit 50 crit chance, 50 crit damage constantly whenever I want to kill somebody. I would love the K protocol and block like 2 to 3 escalations per mission. These are all wonderful. Also, here's Pinger. Sorry, make a choice. There's a lot of really good points in Vanguard that to me feel similarly powerful. And so it is very hard for me to be like, oh, here's the Vanguard build, here's the Vanguard build. But the other ones are like, oh yeah, here's the best talents in this class, here's the best ones in this class. Oh, pick build A, pick build B. It's like, there's a lot of really good things that can suck all your points up, and it's your choice. Again, sending basically 1 guard every other turn somewhere into Narnia. And again, like, you just pick somewhere randomly behind you, 25 meters away, and it's like, that guard's just gone, right? They're not going to die. They're not going to trigger a corpse timer. They're not going to get discovered by a camera. They're just out forever. They're gone. great. Wonderful, right? That's good. That is a good way to dispatch guards. It's just a little bit out of the way, which is unfortunate, but it's a great way to dispatch guards. This does have a combo with a hacker talent called Prank, which says this guard in particular will be sent on the next escalation, which means you can either multi-class hacker or just have one on your team and use that to say, we're going to put this guard in that location and they're out of the way. This is a totally reasonable way to play a very high level stealth sort of build. And between Pinger and Lure and Refract, you can be like, look, none of the guards will ever see me. If you're going to try to play a pacifist playthrough, I don't have the patience for it, I wouldn't do that. But if you're trying to play a pacifist playthrough yourself, Lure, Refract, Pinger, and then maybe some level of like projection, silence, jam kit, which is like, this is not even that bad a path. Projecting kind of sucks, but like, you know, taking the baby ones here and then taking the right side tree, like, you can probably play a pacifist playthrough with like these 5 talents, and it's like actually probably doable. Obviously, if there's like ever combat required missions, you're screwed, but otherwise, yeah, it's actually kind of viable. So Pinger, again, can be really, really good. But keep in mind that it is going to be guards at random. You, without other help, cannot guarantee the guard you want to send is the guard you are sending. And it might send them right across your path, which means you got to go kill them. Just, hey, by the way, that's still there. Final talent here is a drone talent. So right now, in beginning of July, this is a dead talent. Never learn it. It's not worth it. Don't bother. But hey, do you have an enemy drone within 25 meters to basically be blind and deaf? Essentially, can't detect teammates whatsoever. Again, they've got to be unaware suspicious, much like how anticipation and stuff works. But yes, drone is blind and deaf and doesn't move very far. For this in the next 2 turns, this drone is gone for an incredibly long time. But again, won't work in a combat mission. You can make the range to 35. You can get the cooldown to 4. You can get a charge. You can get the duration to another turn for some reason. I don't know why you're not gone by now, but yeah, I would probably not bother with these 2. But yeah, okay, in a world where there are drones pulling around, turning them off is useful. In a world where drones are reinforcements, reinforcements rather, unless it's like VIP reinforcements or like scripted from like a story event, they will come in as unaware or suspicious. So if you ever do hit drones as a reinforcement wave, you can be like, actually, no, I'm turning you off, you're not doing anything here. And then they won't be in combat very easily. Sure, very valid. Otherwise, you can say, hey, if we did wake you up, but you can't detect us, but like we got into a fight, you do less damage, have less accuracy. Again, this is not a real talent. Don't learn it. You don't fight drones nearly often enough. It's not there. You're not going to do this. Let's talk about multi-classing now. Options here. Number 1 is Cybersword. Yes, absolutely. Cybersword is a very real multi-class. To me, there are 2 pretty heavily like suggested archetypes, maybe 3 for a Vanguard. They're clearly about stealth crit, and so that means you probably want to use a blade, or you might want to use a sniper rifle, or you can do the middle ground, just go into a pistol, and pistol is fine as well. Pistol also has stealth crit damage. Cybersword, of course, is the blade side of things, unsurprisingly. Again, you're probably going to be pretty heavily talent point starved. The nice thing is you can like just take slash slide and be like, yeah, I use a blade, and then when there's like 2 guards on my screen, I slash slide and I hit them both. And I covered as much distance as if I was going to run for 2 AP, but I also got 2 attacks, so I printed 4 action points. I was going to use a blade anyway, because I want my stealth crits and silence and whatnot, so we're chilling. And in fact, I have such good stealth crit chance and stealth crit damage, I grab Whisper Kill, and just out of the box, twice per mission, I print 2 move points. Seems pretty good. I can get a second charge, yeah, if I want to. I can get another move point on top. I probably wouldn't bother, but you certainly can. It's totally fine. You can go into Lightfoot in case silence is not up enough for you. You can grab Lightfoot and do very, very similar things. In fact, you can go here and gain that same 20-something stealth crit chance that your silence could do. And so between Lightfoot and silence, you can do this and get some pretty good stuff. Again, all the blade stuff, pretty solid. You can go as deep as you want. The one thing, though, is you might want to consider not doing the Aegis Deflection Field stuff, or maybe even Choppa necessarily. It just kind of depends on what you need to do, what you want to mix and match, because again, you're going to be pretty talent-starved here because you care about a lot of this stuff, and you care about a lot of your Vanguard stuff as well. So it's kind of got to be your choices here. Agent EX has some fun stuff as well. If you want even more device disabling, Line Crawler is pretty solid. If you want even more luring, Shadow can totally exist. If you don't always have stealth or silence up, you can use White Noise to cut noise as well. It even comes with some crit chance, which is fine. Smoke Screen's always good. I really like Signal Grift. A Signal Grift plus Body Bag will completely remove the corpse from the game entirely. You can have Supremacy pop the same time that Glasswalker does and get even more action points, move points, and stuff. I don't think this is honestly that real. I think if you're doing Vanguard and you're like relying on escalations, I just personally wouldn't. But if you want, you can. Just, you're going through a bunch of nodes like this. I mean, maybe this way, to be honest, and you have some corpse disposal, and it's fine. Again, I don't think it's like really the primary thing, but you could go that way if you wanted to. Soldier, it's generically a good combat class. You can use marker sights for more crit chance. You can get 25% here to make sure that looks good. Iron Grip can help you make sure you have some damage here. Overwatch is a really good save me talent. Just like I go into Soldier and I grab Overwatch, I get 2 charges, I get my pistol out. Someone walks into me, I probably stop them. It's fine. It's totally reasonable. It's totally okay. It's acceptable. You can go into as much damage as you want. You can just keep going and grab your savagery recoup, whatever. But like, look, if you want a little bit of extra power, you can go into Soldier. It's really chill, no big deal. Sniper, next one up. Sniper is, of course, another... sniper rifles, rather, are crit weapons. They're stealth crit weapons. You can go revolver if you really want to. That's going to break you out of stealth a lot, though, is the problem. But yeah, you're getting stealth crit chance in a lot of places. You can go into Quiet Kill and get a bunch of stealth crit. If you upgrade it, you get a bunch of stealth crit and accuracy. You can go into Nest and get a bunch of... stealth crit and accuracy, or stealth crit and pure damage. You can go into Strike Zone and JTAC and, you know, buff your team with more combat power. If you ever need more damage, you know, Sniper is pretty solid for it, Soldier's pretty solid for it. You can use Perimeter Eye if Anticipation is not enough and you want to spot even more enemies, you certainly can. Those choices are all there for you, but yeah, if you're going to play a more sniper rifle focused Vanguard, you can come in and look for things like Nest, things like Quiet Kill, and whatever else you kind of feel like grabbing. If you're like, yeah, I've got a sniper rifle, I feel pretty good about it, great, it's all here for you, totally fine. Hacker is not unreasonable, to be honest. The primary combo is, well, first of all, Packet Loss is very, very good. Out of the box, it's actually stronger than Jam Kit. You can get Jam Kit to 0 AP. You can't get Packet Loss to 0 AP, but you can get Packet Loss to disable for 3 turns. You can get a second charge. You get the radius up to 35 meters, which is kind of absurd. In fact, if you're not going to go for the 0 AP talent on Jam Kit, I would rather you just spend for Packet Loss instead. Maybe Jam Kit's just there as an extra ability that cools down, and that's fine. But you can be like, actually, I'm in Hacker. Packet Loss is my primary disabling talent. Yeah, sure, totally fine. The big thing, though, is, yeah, having Prank and Pinger combo together. You can get this to 0 AP as well. The base radius is 25. It becomes 35. It becomes 50. Yes, so pick a point 25 meters away, pick a guard 50 meters away, they're going over there, right? And you can get your 2-turn cooldown on Pinger, you can get a second charge on Pinger, which basically this lines up pretty well to like, yeah, if you want to play this way, where you're investing heavily in that, and you're using packet loss and whatnot, you can just pick and choose guards and say, you guys go run over there, please leave, please go somewhere useless, it's all 0 action points, start of the game, anyone I see, go hide in the corner, you're done, goodbye, it's over forever. Very real, could totally happen. That would be kind of the primary combo here. Other option is going into Faked Vitals. Unfortunately, you must go through at least one hacking talent, either Hard Shell or Faked Vitals. There's really no way around it. All the pathing here is blocked. You have to go through this to come from that side, this to come from that side, or one of these to come from the middle. Nothing else you can do about this one. Sorry. There's maybe one wasted note if you're not going to hack at all, but Faked Vitals lets you cancel the body timer, right? So you can cancel the body timer, hide the corpse. Again, Agent EX has it better. It's 1 AP and gives you upside, but you can cut the AP cost to 0. You can make the range really big and get a second charge if you really want. Again, I don't really recommend this, but it's there if you really, really care. Gunslinger is another decent combat class option. It requires an implant, so it's a little bit, more expensive than some of the other options, but EX and Hacker require implants as well. This has a bunch of pistol work. So if you are going for a primarily pistol heavy playstyle, you've got things that, don't line up a ton with it. Link Watch gives you pistol overwatch. A lot of these just give you, decent crit damage, whatnot, and crit chance. Double pistol can go and use gun kata, and that'll be pretty solid. You can use this, and it's not that many points, right? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then plus like 9 to cap everything out. Yeah, it's 15 points to get this. That's like 13 levels, 12 levels of talent points here, but it gives you a ton of damage and lets you feel good about it, and you still get Overwatch stuff here. Throw and Bullet can combo with Lure a little bit. Hold Up can be a way to deal with people once in a while. I don't seriously recommend this as a primary build. I think it's a little unwieldy to get all the way over here, but there's definitely some stuff that can work and be fine. Again, there's a lot of crit stacking. One thing I will call out is Lure plus Blend plus Gun Kata is a true combo. Lure 4 guards together, walk into range without getting quite seen, pop Blend for 50% stealth crit chance, pop Gun Kata with a flat 50 crit chance on it, and guess what? You are critting every single bullet, and they're probably all dying. You're getting all 4 kills. It's talent expensive. It's going to cost you, being level 15 in the first place. Maybe even almost 20, but it'll work. It's a real combo, and it's pretty repeatable as well, so if you're really feeling that, it's definitely a possibility. Final one for the multi-class here is Scourge. Scourge actually, I think, is really, really good as a dip. So by being a Vanguard, you often don't have a lot of combat talents, which means having talents that don't scale with other combat tools, actually pretty good. Or just overall playing, cleanup. So Dissolve, for example, is the best corpse talent in the game. You can get a second and a third charge, get the AP cost to 1, cooldown of 5 means you're pretty likely going to get a fourth Dissolve sometime this map. And okay, you're probably going to skip this one, but it's on the way here. 6 meter is enough where you're probably not getting too far out of the way to clean up your kills. But yeah, you can go into Vanguard, get a bunch of stealth kills, and be like, look, I'm going to clean up my own mess here. 1 AP for Dissolve, the body's gone. If you're seriously considering using Body Bag, I'd recommend just learn Dissolve, get the 2 or 3 charges maybe, and have that be a way to clean up your own messes, to not generate any extra tally. You can come in and use Venom Trap and Tox Cloud and things like that, even maybe Brainworm, just to help guarantee that you're going to have an easy time running through all the levels. I think that's acceptable. It's not the sickest, but it is another possibility of just, hey, primarily because of Dissolve, here's a way to play really well stealthily. But again, the point I want to reiterate is there are so many good Vanguard talents. Unless I really want the damage of going into Sniper or going into Cyber Sword, those are my 2 recommendations. Like actual recommendations is I would realistically not bother multiclassing out for more stealth tools in most cases. So again, there are a million ways you could build Vanguard, but one option you could go for is like take an early +2 here in Jam Kit. I really like taking at least this much in lore. You can get away with not taking these 2, but the further investment is totally reasonable. From here, you can go all the way up to Glasswalker and then try to path up towards K Protocol and then come back for Blend. You can go all the way up and do Pinger into Refract. I think that is fine. I think realistically, even though you're spending a lot of kind of rough nodes here, like this pathing is not the funnest, it's still fewer points than going this way into Refract and then down. So it kind of depends how impatient you are, or if you get a Simstream trainer. I mean, you could go up this way and take Refract, then later on, like a respec, but that's pretty much going to do it this way. We're just going to, pinger some people, going to come in, grab Refract, probably grab AP cost plus charge. I'm not like breakpointing the levels. This is an exact science here. But probably come in and be like, yeah, I probably want some more here. May or may not want to the range. I'm not sure. I'd probably okay with this, to be honest. Then I can kind of move in and be like, okay, what's next for me? Well, the path's going to be a little bit awkward. How do I get across? Probably go like this. Could go Glasswalker, could choose not to. Up to you. K Protocol. Get a couple of increases like this. Like, yeah, this would be like a reasonable level 15 Vanguard. There might be some light pathing optimizations that could be done. None that I can see off the top of my head, but maybe. But like this would be like a pretty solid setup where I can lure guards around, I can pinger guards around, I can jam kit a good number of devices. I might have wanted more points here at some other point, but like, again, there's so many points you would like that, would be beneficial. I mean, realistically, spending 1, 2, 3, 4 travel nodes just for a bit of K Protocol, I would realistically probably, I'd consider skipping all of these and not even going to Anticipation, investing heavily into Jam Kit, investing more into Pinger, potentially going into Hacker for Prank. Totally would have been a possibility. Other option would have been cutting some of this early, right? Instead of going up, I could go into Cyber Sword, right? Grab Slash Slide, go like +4 or something, maybe +3. This would be enough in most cases. And spend that 4-point dip there. That would be pretty reasonable. Consider going Whisper Kill if I feel like I'm doing it really successfully. Also fine. Not too far away. Definitely a real possibility. As for playstyle and gear, the big thing is the Chameleon Sheath prevents you from wearing heavy armor. This could be a problem. It could not be. It's kind of up to you. Where none of this comes with baseline stealth crit damage. So again, you really do want to get stealth crits. Find ways to get crit chance up there. You probably want to go for a sniper rifle. You might want to go for a blade. Something like, where is it? Yeah, something like this would be a pretty reasonable setup. Let me grab this. There we go. We'll grab this Neo Razor. It's like, yeah, I'm walking around with a suppressor, and look, when I crit for 4.5 extra sniper rifle. Just give me the crit chance and they're dead. When I crit with this blade, I'm critting for, 2.7x, because I'm getting the baseline 1.5, another plus 120 on top. That's going to be pretty solid here as well. I'm going to feel pretty good about this one, all things considered. Cool, right? Just give me the crit chance, I'm going to kill them, it's going to be fine. I can use my Plaz Edge to make sure the damage is high enough that it really goes through. It's going to feel pretty reasonable. Just give me ways to get move speed, give me ways to get crit chance, and I'm going to feel good about this one. Swords also very reasonable for very similar boats. If I get a high-end sword here, or sorry, high-end pistol, again, I'm, stealth critting for, 3.2 or something like that, if I recall correctly. Yeah, I'm probably going to one-shot somebody with the 600 ballistic damage coming in, right? It's all going to work pretty well here, and I can, mod for accuracy and whatever else is going to all be fine. Those would be my core recommendations of playing a Vanguard if you're going to try to really play the class, because they give you a bunch of move speed, they give you a bunch of stealth crit. It's going to work out overall. Next thing to talk about are the 3 Vanguards that are in the game. So one of them is the starting Vanguard that is available in one of the 2 sneak slots. It's this or the Agent EX. Things to note here is that she comes with minus long-range accuracy and a lot of flat move speed, which is really nice. Also, always comes with grit, always comes with sleuth. So sleuth is nice because you are going to get extra access to legwork, which means she will be on the bench a bit more than normal because she's going to tag as your best merc for legwork more frequently than anyone else is going to, and so she'll often be like off right on the bench. So that also means, hey, be careful, you need another Vanguard or someone else who can handle devices while she's gone, because that'll happen a decent amount of the time. Also worth noting that because she's plus move speed minus long range, she's very strongly meant to be more likely to be a blade focused Vanguard. So like this kind of setup is more likely to be what you're going to go for here. Just want to kind of point that out here. Reasonable overall. Final thing to bring up is that she also comes with a personalized storyline. As of today in early July. That storyline is not complete, but you do get a story mission. It's pretty fun. It's enjoyable to get through. And then at some point in the future, they will finalize it, hoping sometime this year. Additionally, you'll be offered this Vanguard relatively early on in the first month or 2 of the game, as long as you have an open barracks slot and not 2 pending recruits. More recruits can show up. There's only 2 right now. There's a Vanguard and a Soldier. I've got Soldier as well, farther down the line. But she comes with X Los Z Recon, so plus legwork chance, plus initiative, which is really, really good. Decent enough stat spread, no big deal. This one is a random among 3. So there's Grocket, which gives you, of course, legwork chance. There's Street Smart, which is like XP and Will. And Longshot, which is plus sniper rifle accuracy, or railgun, and minus short range accuracy, if I recall correctly. And then you actually get to choose this one here. So in this case, because I rolled the legwork chance here on Grocket, I chose legwork here as well. And so much like Sin, she's also a sleuth. And so, yeah, I'm doubling up here, but because we have 2 other legwork bonuses, it's like, look, I'm going to grab this. You're going to be really, really good at all my legwork. Let's go. I'm going to feel good about this one. You're going to ride the bench forever, but you're going to get all of my legwork done for me, and I'll feel good about that one. That's very reasonable. You can also grab Agile or Thief, which give some fraction of move speed, Reaction, which is more move speed, fractional move points, and in the case of Thief, I believe, it's also minus detection radius, so you can do more sneaking. There is some minus detection radius in the Vanguard tree. There's actually some minus detection radius in some armors as well, so you can actually get your point where you're like -4 detection, and then like you can like sneak up to people without using stealth. That can be pretty cool, but that requires a fair bit of investment, and that can be kind of tough here. Ultimately, you can choose a story point here as well over how she got the Chameleon Sheath. Basically, you can actually make her an enemy of Los Z instead of a friend if you pick that you like sold Los Z out, or you get an enemy in the Syndicate, or you can get I think it's Brave Star, somebody who doesn't like you. No, you get obligations to an Ultratech contact, which sure, whatever. You might get a, obligation mission spawn to you at some point, but whatever. Obviously, this character, if you end up spawning the sniper rifle talents, you can say, I'm going to be a sniper. Obviously, you can still take a bunch of move speed stuff here in the 3rd slot and be like, I'm still a Vanguard. If Emil's not running her stuff, I will run her stuff and I'll take my sword and run forward. It'll be totally fine. Final option here is the Underworld Hub Vanguard. First things first, actually, she comes with an extra contact. We'll show that here. Spoilers for contacts, by the way. If you're really spoiler sensitive, close your eyes until I say open them. Great. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be okay. Feel free to open your eyes. Don't worry. Nothing too spicy. Yes, you get Honeybean. So Honeybean comes with 2 almost unique traits here. Buying items probably doesn't matter too much here, but he sells utility programs, which is only available in one other place, and that's in a side objective to the story mission Carnivore. And security items is also unique. As far as I know, it only exists if you take the null deal storyline option. You have this available to yourself. Otherwise, other than those 2 specific situations and places where they exist, you cannot get these traits otherwise. So this could be nice. You can always hire this character and then immediately exit out. And like you can say, hi, welcome to the team. I've hired you, and then immediately fire her, and you keep the contact. If you want, you can. Anyway, though, she comes with a bunch of legwork chance. Oh, look, I've seen this before. And move speed. Wow, cool. Pretty good stuff here overall. This is a pretty solid distribution of attributes. Nothing too much to complain about. No big deal. Also, always comes with Adrenaline Junkie, which is, again, more minus health, which can matter. She's minus 30. Be careful. But, hey, plus initiative is nice. Plus more reaction. This means at minimum 5 reaction, which is another +1 initiative. We get some minus detection rate, which is kind of fun. We also get some more move speed. So we get 10 move speed here. We get another 5 from reaction. Like, this character is very, very fast. Cool stuff here. Now, careful, if she is sitting on the bench and is available, like she's not in the trainer, she's not in detox, she's not in cyber surgery, she's not injured or wounded or something, or specifically has downtime from an injury or whatever, you know, like in like recovery or something. She has a chance to gain stress if you don't bring her on the mission. This can be annoying. You might not want to deal with this management. I understand if that's the case here for you. But the upside is you get to generate a bunch of hype, which is pretty cool. And this will level up, and the odds will increase if you keep gaining hype and then keep doing hype limit breaks. We can go through the hiring storyline real quick. Here's Honeybean. Great. If you want to pause and read through it, feel free to. But the point here is, again, you have 3 options of what you're going to get. You can, again, all 3 Vanguards can be sleuths. If you really want, you can do it. If you want, you totally can. Below the level is some stress res and XP. I really don't recommend this one because to me, the values here are too low to really matter. What's fun, though, is ferocity. So strength is melee damage. It's good. Melee accuracy is good as well. 0.1 action points. Pretty good. And actually, because you can get a Street Splicer contact, there's a spine implant that gives you 0.3 action points. Actually, in the files in the game, it goes up to 0.5 for the most expensive one. These are not turned on in the sense that the services that they come out of aren't in the game. Those storylines don't exist. But, like, if you know how to look for the files of what's in the game, there's a 0.5 action point spine, just by the way. But in the game right now, like, you can actually reach in the current game without doing, like, cheats or whatever, is you can get 0.3. She comes with 0.1. I think it goes up to 0.3 or 0.4 if you cap this out, if you get a bunch of hype limit breaks. And by the way, right, because she generates extra hype, that's not that hard to do. I'm just going to grab it and move on so we don't sit on the screen forever. Oh yeah, we have her downside as well. We'll talk about that real quick. I'm indebted to an Ultratech person. Great, sure. Or sorry, yeah. Oh, sorry. It's Honeybean is indebted to me, right? That's what it was. I apologize. So yeah, you can say, hey, favors with Honeybean is nice because we can then guide his limit breaks. One of the other contacts is a Faber. I really have to skip by it. It's my fault for going too fast here. I forgot which merc this was. If you take the Faber contact, that contact comes with the imported weapons tag, which you can only get from a relatively early game Gunrunner storyline. So, and imported guns are actually pretty good. It has one of the best early game pistols in the game, and one of the best early game assault rifles in the game. So, if you didn't manage to get imported guns in one of your gun runners for whatever reason, you can get it here, and that can be useful. So that's an option. But you can also just have Honeybean OU favors, which is kind of nice. Anyway, we're going to recruit her, and then do a little bit more talking about how this character goes. Right, so you can get fractional AP from Ferocity. You can get fractional AP. I believe I can do it right now. I can show you. Yeah, I can get shipped reflexes here, which is fractional AP. We can kind of start that and be like, yep, it's kind of expensive. It's a little bit of downtime, but we have 0.4 action points coming in. Right? And then again, as this levels up, we can increase this, but you can also, it is possible to craft armor that gives 0.6 action points with no RNG whatsoever. There are 2 stealth armor blueprints which means you have to like try to get them in the early game because at a certain point you'll overlevel them. And then the early game, like low level blueprints don't exist anymore, but you can get the point where you can craft a 0.6 action point armor blueprint. And if you don't get quite as lucky, you might get a 0.5 because you get like a different secondary and you can kind of cobble those together. Right, 0.3 from the spine, 0.1 or more from ferocity, 0.5 or 0.6 from armor. You can get 1 permanent action point without going into the Cyberknight tree, because otherwise only the Cyberknight can do that. Anyone who has ferocity, it's only a few mercs who have that available. Cyberknight can do it via the tree, but this is a Vanguard who can have 7 permanent action points without doing like awkward pathing in the passive tree. Wanted to bring that up because this is one of the only characters who can do that. And it's not even that big of a downside because Ferocity is already good with damage and accuracy. The spine is already good implant just generically because it just is. This gives move speed, this gives initiative. It's just actually a good implant. And then you're like, yeah, I might have had slightly stronger armor, but like I can't wear heavy armor anyway. So like here, I'll wear this, which I think is actually pretty solid overall. So that is the rundown on Vanguards. I think there are a ton of really good viable builds. You can certainly multi-class it as Sniper, or I would recommend of the multi-classes, Sniper and Cybersword are the ones that make the most sense, but it can totally be up to your choice. These characters are very fun to play. I really like them. There are a lot, there's a lot of access to them, right? You get one for free, you get one in the U-Hub, and you can take one as a starter. Again, very fun class. I like it a lot. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.